Shalom, everybody. Rabbi Edelstein, back again with this week's installment of Rabbi E in 3, brought to you by MEOR DC. Find us on Facebook or at MEORDC.com and learn about our programs. I hope you all had a wonderful Pesach and are enjoying the beautiful spring weather wherever you happen to be. Certainly in DC, Baruch Hashem, it's very, very beautiful. Although allergy sufferers like me, we have to deal with that. But that's another story. This week's Torah portion is Shemini in the book of Leviticus, Vayikra. It deals with the laws of kashrut and a few other important topics, but I want to speak to you in a couple minutes now about something else, because as I record, it's the 27th of Nisan, the final moments of this day, the 27th of Nisan, which happens to be the yahrzeit, the anniversary of the day of passing of a very great rabbi of our time, Rabbi Avigdor Miller, zt'l. Rabbi Avigdor Miller passed away about 15 years ago, I think. And actually, it was funny, my wife just happened to discover that today was his yahrzeit. He's a rabbi whose books and tapes and live lectures when he was alive have inspired and inspire so many people, including my wife and myself. There's actually a picture of Rabbi Miller that my wife drew from a photograph in our dining room. So my wife just, a beautiful coincidence, Baruch Hashem. I always think about Rabbi Miller. I learn his books all the time, listen to his tapes, but I didn't know today was his yahrzeit, and my wife happened, again in quotation marks, to discover that this morning. So I was able to, there are no coincidences. That was one of the great lessons Rabbi Avigdor Miller always taught, right? No coincidences. Hashem is in charge of everything. So on his yahrzeit, in the last few moments, I want to share a couple of ideas from Rabbi Miller. I've quoted him before in the past. He was a person who had greatness in so many areas, and his greatness probably I can't really even fully appreciate. But one of the themes that has always stuck with me, that he talked about endlessly, is to be grateful for everything in creation, everything in the world, and even down to our shoelaces and the extra button on our shirt. If our button breaks, he said, notice everything, open your eyes and be thankful for everything. He used to say very often that he didn't like when people complained about the weather. And I'm sorry, sometimes I'm sure I have. Raining, he would say, the rain is life, the rain is children. And the hot sun in the summer, you're complaining it's baking the apples and the fruits on the trees in the fields. He appreciated every detail, sang the praises of Hashem. So there's a little book here of some of his quotations from his many works and tapes. I just want to read you a couple things. Day by day, he said in one of his books, practice the idea that Hashem is actually looking at you. We should think that whatever we're saying is being recorded, and wherever we are going is being photographed. Now, of course, that's not a new idea. He's alluding to the rabbinic teaching that there's an eye that watches and an ear that hears, and all our deeds and words are being transcribed in a book. But he's making it real for us, and he's telling us that the real goal of life, in the spiritual sense, and of course the spiritual sense is the ultimate goal of life, is to develop an actual awareness that Hashem is real, and he's watching us. That'll change how we behave towards others if we would work on internalizing that, and how we act to ourselves and what we do in our spare time. It would elevate our whole lives to develop that awareness of Hashem. And he goes on in this particular quotation that Hashem gives you all your needs and everything to give you an opportunity to work on recognizing him. That really, as Rabbi Avigdor Miller zt'l would say, is the ultimate purpose of life, to attain yirat Hashem, often translated as fear of God. Yira has one of the translations is fear, but as Rabbi Miller always said, it really means awareness of Hashem. And there are different levels of awareness. The lowest level of awareness of the reality of Hashem might be a kind of a fear, but it means, like the word yira is related to the word to see, re'eh, to be aware of Hashem in our lives. He taught and showed and lived an awareness of Hashem. Anyone who heard his lectures it was palpable. And he taught that is the source of joy in life. Joy of connecting spiritually to Hashem. I could go on and on. I've already gone over my 3 minutes, but it's worth it to remember and to speak the words and call to mind a great, great rabbi, a great man who impacted my life and so many others. Have a wonderful week. May we, myself very much included, take the example of Rabbi Miller always serving Hashem, serving Him by singing the joys of being alive, the wisdom in every aspect of creation, the goodness and the benevolence all around us, and working always on developing a true Yirat Hashem, a true awareness of Hashem. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Thank you very much for listening.